Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Pokemon fans of the world, Mega Crashers here to bring to you a 2-for-1 deal in this video, because not only is this video going to contain a review of Volcanion, but we're also going to be discussing Volcanion, meaning what tier do you think that this thing will be in, based on its typing, stats, move pools, abilities, all that good stuff. Just to give you guys a little bit of a preview of the discussion part, I personally think that this thing will start out in OU, and then possibly drop down to underused, or if it's too overpowered or underused, maybe go up to BL, but I don't know. Like, I think that this would be known as an inferior version of Heatran, but let's not write off Volcanion, because Volcanion's typing is fire and water, which is actually very, very good typing. We can just scroll right here. You have 3-4 times resistances, which is very, very good. That being to fire, ice, and steel. And you also have 2 regular resistances, that being to bug and fairy. The only weaknesses that you gotta worry about would be to electric, ground, and rock. But all those weaknesses are very manageable if you know how to build a team correctly around Volcanion. Now, let's just go ahead and take a look at the ability Water Absorb. Holy crap! As if this thing wasn't already cool enough with its typing. Water Absorb grants it a free immunity to water-type moves, and what's even better is if you get hit by a water-type move, 25% of your maximum health gets restored. That means that you can switch in on all the Aqua Jet spam, all the Scald spams you want, and get that free health back. Woo! That's amazing. And if that doesn't hit you hard enough, get a load at these stats right here. So we have 80 on the HP, 110 on the attack, 120 on the defense, 130 on the special attack, 90 on the special defense, and 70 on the speed. So really, the only thing that this thing is lacking somewhat would be the speed. Its base 90 special defense is a little bit more exploitable, but it's not bad whatsoever. I like these stats. I really like these stats. I mean, base 130 special attack is absolutely amazing, and that is the same special attack as Heatran. And even though Heatran does outspeed this thing, Volcanion, in my opinion, is slightly more durable if we're going to be talking about typing, because it doesn't have any 4 times weaknesses. But hey, that's just me. That's just my opinion. Not gonna pass off as fact. Nope, that's just me. One person's opinion out of a million people. Base 110 attack and base 130 special attack. I mean, there's a very good possibility that you could go mixed. And base 70 speed, although it's not the slowest, you could actually use this in a Trick Room team if you so choose. So, with that being said, it's time to move on to the next part of the video. That being, let's navigate into Pokemon Showdown. So the first set that I have for you for Volcanion is going to be an all-out special attacking set, and Volcanion with fully invested base 130 special attack with a modest nature. Like, look at these numbers. Look at that. 394 special attack. And factor in the fact that we'll be using choice specs as your item of choice in this move, no pun intended. You're going to be hitting almost 600 on the special attack. How crazy is that? That is absolutely insane. And the set that we'll be running right here is going to be a bulky spec set. So it's going to be 252 special attack, 252 HP, and 4 on the speed. We're meaning to be as bulky as possible and be able to take hits, and believe me, with that base 120 defense and base 90 special defense, you're going to be taking hits like it's no one's business. So you can actually use other items if you want. You can use something like Leftovers to not be locked into a move and have a little bit of health recovery at the end of each turn. You can go for something like Life Orb to have a little more power in your moves and be able to switch around, but it'll cost you 10% of your HP at the end of each turn. Or you can even go for something like Air Balloon, and Air Balloon is also a very good item to use on Volcanion, considering that Air Balloon protects you from ground-type moves until it breaks. So that means that it can break from any other attack, excuse me, before they decide to use a ground-type attack and cause some severe damage to you. So the ability, well, its only ability is going to be Water Absorb, right? So the first move we got is going to be Steam Eruption. take a look at this. The power, the accuracy, the 30% chance to burn. Base 110 power, that is the same power as Hydro Pump. And base 95 accuracy means only a 5% chance to miss. And that's amazing. And considering that this thing now has a 30% chance to burn the target, you thought Scald was a problem. Now Steam Eruption is going to be an even bigger problem, and it's actually more powerful. So yeah, that's going to make Volcanion very troublesome to deal with, in my opinion. Up next, we got Fire Blast, baby. We got Fire Blast. Woo! And Fire Blast is a base 110 power, fire-type move with base 85 accuracy and a 10% chance to burn. This complements water-type stabs so well. Oh my god. Up next, we got Sludge Bomb to give you poison-type coverage against grass and fairy-type Pokemon that think that they can switch in and, you know, stomach hits. It's like, yeah, how do you feel about taking a Sludge Bomb to the face there, Mega Altaria? Or Mega Gardevoir, you know? It's gonna hurt. And lastly, I decided we're gonna go with something like Hidden Power Ice, because Hidden Power Ice, with Choice Specs boosting it, will smash any Dragon-type switch-ins. Like, this is unbelievable. It is so good. Now, you can go for something like Earth Power if you want, over Sludge Bomb or Hidden Power Ice, or hell, even something like Solar Beam, if you want to have extra water-type, not water-type coverage, sorry, grass-type coverage against water-types, what I was meant to say. But the thing of it is, it's a charge-up move, which means that the first turn, you can't move. The second turn, however, you use Solar Beam. That would mean that you'd have to use something like a Power Herb to be able to avoid wasting a turn to charge, and then you can use Solar Beam. But it's a one-time only thing, so you're only essentially able to use Solar Beam once, and that's not good. So my recommendation, stay away from Solar Beam, but, you know, do so as you wish. And the EV spread, like I was made reference to earlier, it's going to be 252 HP EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and 4 speed EVs with a modest nature. And with Choice Specs boosting, good god, you're going to be hitting almost 600 special attack points. That's insane. So the next set that I have for you is going to be kind of like a mixed Volcanion set here. Now just bear with me here. The item for choice is going to be Life Orb to allow you to have a boost in the power of your moves by 30% at the cost of 10% of your health. The ability, once again, is going to be Water Absorb. The first move that we got is going to be Flame Charge. Now, Flame Charge is actually a very, very good move, and highly underrated in my opinion. It's base 50 power, it's fire type, yeah, it's a little bit weak, but you're guaranteed to raise your speed by 1 stage, which is damn awesome. The next move that we got is going to be Steam Eruption, because why not? Steam Eruption's now the best water type move there is, and it's exclusive to Volcanion. Can you imagine if something like Mega Blastoise, though, got a hold of Steam Eruption? That would be insane. I would love it. The next move that we got is going to be Earthquake. Now, you can go for something like Earth Power if you want, but I go with Earthquake because I want to make a little bit better use of the physical attack, because this thing can be a pretty good mixed attacker if you really think about it. And then lastly, we'll go for Fire Blast, because Fire Blast, base 110, fire-type power, oh man, it is so good. Yeah, the accuracy is base 85, so it can miss sometimes, and I've been having really bad luck with Fire Blast lately, so Fire Blast can go itself. And the EV spread, it's nothing in particular. I decided to put 124 EVs into attack, 132 into special attack, and 252 into speed with the naive nature. Now, if you, depending on how you build your team or how you build this moveset, you can move around your EVs a little bit. Like, if you want it to be Flame Charge and like 3 special attacks or something like that, we can drop the attack EVs down to 4, and then sub out Earthquake for Earth Power or something like that. Just something to keep in mind. So that's it for that set. It's time to move on to this set. Now, bear with me here. I know what you guys are thinking. Mega Crasher, why would you want to use a physical Volcanion over its special attack? Why? Oh my god. Hear me out, friends. Hear me out. I believe in being creative as well. Now, this may not be the best way to use Volcanion, and I'm fully aware of that. But who knows? Maybe this set will prove to be useful otherwise. So, the item of choice is going to be something like Choice Band. Now, you can go for something like Leftovers, or Assault Vest, or even something like Life Orb if you want. It's really up to you. Choice Band is good for the amount of power that you'll have immediately. And of course, Water Absorb, once again, is going to be its ability. Earthquake is going to be the first move to smash any rock, steel, and electric type switch-ins, such as, you know, your Tyrantars, such as your Heatrans, such as your Bisharps and all that stuff. But Bisharp goes down to Flare Blitz anyways, which is going to be its next move. And it has a 33% recoil, so with Choice Band and Stab, you're going to be taking quite a bit of recoil, because you're going to be doing out a lot of damage. And it has a 10% chance to burn the target, which is always good. Up next, we got Superpower. Now, Superpower with ground and fire type coverage is amazing. There's very little to no opportunity to switch in safely while taking one of these attacks with the Choice Band boosting it, unless you're something like a Talonflame. If you're a Talonflame in this case, you can go for something like Stone Edge. Because get this, Earthquake and Stone Edge provide near perfect coverage to begin with, and with Flare Blitz, yeah, there's no safe switches, so maybe Stone Edge would be the better option in this situation. And then lastly, we got Explosion. Explosion, base 250 power normal type move. However, you do faint after using it, but with Choice Band boosting Explosion, you go boom on any unsuspecting victim, and then that's it. They're done. They are done, son! And then the EV spread's going to be something like this. We're going to go with the Jolly Nature, that way you can outspeed base 70 speed Pokemon that are fully invested in a speed positive nature, such as Bisharp and Breloom. And we'll be going for 252 on the attack, 252 on the speed, and 4 in a special defense. Now, you can go for something like Flame Charge if you want over Explosion. If you're looking to set up late game and be sort of like a late game cleaner, I wouldn't recommend going a Choice Band Flame Charge. Go for something like maybe Assault Vest or Life Orb. Assault Vest for more durability, or Life Orb for more power. Yeah, so something like this. And this right here, on paper, I mean, it may not look like the best set to use for Volcanion. Well, I mean, who am I kidding? It's not really the best set to use for Volcanion. But who knows? Who knows? Like, the surprise factor is always good. It's always good. And then lastly, I have a sleep-talking Volcanion. Steam Eruption, baby. Woo! Let's go! So, we got Leftovers to allow for you to have passive recovery at the end of each turn. We got Water Absorb, as once again, it's going to be the only ability it has. And then the first move we got is going to be Rest. Puts you to sleep for 2 turns, but you are fully healed and all your statuses are gone. You are so good to go. And then we got Sleep Talk. Sleep Talk is a great move to have with Rest, because Sleep Talk, while you're asleep, you choose any move at random. You can choose Fire Blast, Steam Eruption, or be a douche and choose Rest again. Yeah. I've had times where I rested and Sleep Talk, and I chose Rest the entire time, or I'm like, are you shitting me? That's not cool, bro. And then, speaking of not cool, we got Steam Eruption. As a matter of fact, it's a very hot move. Got base 110 power, base 95% accuracy, 30% chance to burn. Woo! Damn, son, that's so good. And then lastly, we got Fire Blast as your secondary stab. Base 110 power, base 85% accuracy, 10% chance to burn. Oh, yeah. There's not going to be very much that can switch in safely without taking a huge amount of damage. And then the EV spread is going to be a modest nature to allow for you to have a little more special attack. And we're going to have 252 EVs into your HP, 252 into your special attack, and 4 into special defense. You know, you're going to be a very bulky Rest Talker while you're going to be tanking up hits, and you're going to be dishing them out, too. You're going to be tanking the hits up, dishing them out, and when you're feeling weak, you just use Rest. And then Sleep Talk your way through sweeping. Something like that. So, that's pretty much all I got to say about Volcanion when it comes to sets. There may be more to come out, but this is all that comes to mind for right now. So I hope you enjoyed this part of the video. So now I'm actually going to get on with the second part of the video, which is going to be the discussion part. So welcome to part 2 of this video. we're now going to be discussing Volcanion. So, a lot of the discussing actually took place in the first part of the video, being the review, going over its typing, stats, abilities, and the set ideas for it. So, basically, what this is going to involve is me discussing what sort of roles that this Pokemon is going to have and how it will impact the OU metagame. We'll just say OU because it's by default the most common tier there is in Smogon. That's not to take away from all the other tiers, that being underused, Ubers, anything goes, rarely used, PU, NU, all that good stuff. I like those other tiers, but OU is really it's really the most commonly played tier there is, in my opinion. I mean, hell, like, I speak from experience. Like, I play OU pretty much 95% of the time that I play Pokemon Showdown to begin with. So, you know, that's a little bit of a testament right there. But, anyways, enough rambling about that part. So, Volcanion. Volcanion has a very, very unique stat layout. It kind of reminds me of a special Metagross, if that makes any sense, because if we take a look at Metagross' stats, you'll see that they are very, they're very physical, they're very physically based. I mean, you have base 135 attack and base 130 on the special defense, or not special defense, excuse me, defense. What the fuck was I saying there? And Volcanion right here, it has base 120 on the defense. It's not base 130, but it's pretty close. We'll just say it's pretty close. So this thing is meant to take punishment on the physical side and dish out hits with its special attack, whereas Metagross is a physical attacker. More similarities about this Pokemon with Metagross would be its base 90 special defense with Metagross' base 90 special defense and base 70 speed with Metagross' base 90 speed. 70 speed, sorry. So let me see here. This thing has a very unique typing of fire and water. Definitely the first of its kind. Now I know with it being fire and water, the first thing that is going to pop up in any argument against using this thing is Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks. You know, things like Talonflame, things like the Mega Charizard, things like Volcarona, you know, like Pokemon like those who have severe weaknesses to Stealth Rocks. You know, people think that just because they're weak to Stealth Rocks that they're not that good anymore. It's like, well, okay. There's a little something called Rapid Spin, Magic Bounce, Defog, Taunt, things like that. So, I mean, if you know how to use Hazard Control for any sort of those teammates, then those Pokemon will actually be very good in battle. And in the case here with Volcanion, it really doesn't have any good moves to allow for it to set up, aside from maybe Flame Charge, as I had pointed out earlier in this video. But it doesn't have anything like Swords Dance or Nasty Plot. But it does have a huge, huge, wide move pool of just pure offense and pure awesomeness. I mean, if we just go to Pokemon Showdown here real quick, let me show you the list of moves that this thing has. So it has things like Body Slam, Brick Break, Earth Power, Earthquake, Explosion, Facade, Fire Blast, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Flare Blitz, Splash Cannon, for various, Focus Blast, that's also a good move to make note of. It also has things like Hydro Pump, which is an inferior version of Steam Eruption. You could also use something like Overheat, if you want to use sort of like a super, super powerful mixed attacking Volcanion. I say mixed attacking because, hear me out on this. So, say if you have something like a Superpower and Overheat on this thing. So Superpower, excuse me, and Overheat. And we'll say Life Orb. Make it so that it is relatively fast. So we'll make it so that we'll maybe have 128 on the special attack and 128 on the physical attack. Maybe go for something like a Naive Nature. So, basically what I'm trying to get at here is you can use these really powerful moves and not have to switch out immediately, because this thing is a pretty good mixed attacker if we put 2 and 2 together. You can use Overheat, and just because it drops your special attack by 2 stages, that doesn't mean that you're completely vulnerable and you have to switch out. That's where the physical attack comes into play. And you can use something like Superpower, which lowers your attack and defense by 1 stage. But I'm just saying, it kind of reminds me of Mixed Infernape in a way. I'm in no way, shape, and form comparing Volcanion to Infernape, because Volcanion and Infernape are 2 completely different Pokemon. Yes, they're both fire types, but that's really the only similarity they have. But yeah, like, if we just take a look at the move pool it has, like, it's a very colorful move pool. You know, you have things like Stone Edge, Will-O-Wisp, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Toxic, all that stuff. And, you know, other moves too. Obviously they're not as good, but, you know, like, there's things like that. So yeah, I definitely think that Volcanion is definitely going to be somewhat impactful in OU. Although that base 70 speed, though, man, holy crap. That base 70 speed is not that good. I mean, you know, some can argue, you know, whoa, what about Bisharp? What about Breloom? They're both base 70 speed and they're in OU. Here's the thing. This thing doesn't have any moves to set up its offenses. Bisharp and Breloom, on the other hand, does, in the form of Swords Dance. So, that's definitely going to be a big disadvantage for Volcanion, in my opinion. Definitely shouldn't take away from the danger level that Volcanion presents in the in battle, because base 110 attack and base 130 special attack, and coupled with the fact that this thing has access to very powerful stab moves such as Steam Eruption and Fire Blast respectively, I definitely think that this thing will definitely be an offensive presence in the overused tier. I mean, hell, like, Heatran is in the overused tier, and it has no moves to set up. But the thing of it is, it's more or less a defensive Pokemon than it is offensive. Although I've seen some offensive variants before, and they hit hard. They hit hard. But that fire and water typing, though, man, like, that's just so unique. And Water Absorb, that means that you're going to be able to, like, counter the mad dog shit out of things such as Keldeo, out of things such as Azumarill, which are 2 very problematic Pokemon. And you can also counter the likes of Manaphy, which is also a very problematic Pokemon. I mean, Tailglow, Scald, that's got nothing on Water Absorb. Of course, it does have things like Energy Ball and Ice Beam and Shadow Ball and Psychic and all that stuff, but by then you've already severely weakened it with your attacks, and you know, you could potentially take it out in a 1-versus-1 situation. That is, if it hasn't already set up. I mean, if it already has set up a Tailglow and you just switch in, that could be a problem. Then, in that situation, Volcanion may not be an effective way to check/counter Manaphy. What else? What else do we got here? I definitely think that its bulk will definitely make a big impact on its usage, because base 80 on the HP and couple that with base 120 on the physical defense, that means that you are going to be taking physical hits. That means that things such as Talonflame, you know, Talonflame can Brave Bird spam you, but it's like, it's not going to be doing as much damage as it would wish for it to do with Brave Bird, because, you know, if it switches in, or you switch into a Brave Bird or whatever, or if you switch into Talonflame, you can just use Steam Eruption and take it out in 1 hit. There you go. Same with Pokemon like Mega Charizard X, or hell, even something like Mega Charizard Y. I mean, Mega Charizard Y could also effectively be stopped by Volcanion, if you think about it. It's Fire-Water typing. Let's just go ahead and re-highlight this real quick. It strongly resists fire. that means that things like Fire Blast, even in under sunlight, and base 159 special attack is not going to be doing a thing to Volcanion. Sure, the thing does have Solar Beam, you know, but Volcanion can easily severely damage it with Stone Edge, with Steam Eruption, you know, things like that. But you know, it definitely could be an obstacle for the Mega Charizards if I'm going to be strictly blunt here. I mean, this is just my opinion, you know, take what I say with a pinch of salt. For all we know, it could be an absolute shit Pokemon that could wind up in the depths of NU. You know, I'm just saying. I don't think that's a possibility, because it's the base stats in itself are busted as hell. But who knows? I mean, we can't really say how good this Pokemon is going to be until we actually try it out in battle when it gets released. So really all we can do at this point is speculate. Speculate how good this Pokemon is going to be, how bad this Pokemon is going to be, the kind of sets that we can use, what it counters, what it checks, what it's weak against, things like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say about the discussion part of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this 2-for-1 video, and if you have, then please feel free to give a thumbs up. I do apologize if I stuttered or paused a little bit. It's been a while since I've done any discussing of any Pokemon. I mean, I've had my discussions for suspect tests, you know, things for events and stuff like that, where I've raged and fucked some shit up, whether it be my own shirts or trying to RKO my chair, you know? Fun times. So, thank you guys for watching this, and if you enjoyed it, then, like I said, give a thumbs up, and rate, comment, and subscribe to Mega Crasher in the community. Because when we are a community, tightly knit as one, we shine brighter than the sun, baby! Woo! Now I gotta go get ready for the gym, so thanks for watching, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Well, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something.